All right, we've gotten through a lot today. Big tech earnings. The Fed had his final word. I'm going to go over some of those details. I'm going to give you some analysis on a small cap stock that quite a few of you are in. We're going to talk about a candle pattern that I see on the SPY that is providing a potential setup that, if it confirms, signals and confirms that we are indeed going to 720. I talked about money flow. I've talked about it in every video, and I was telling you guys that there was money flowing into the QQQ. Now, it was a wild ride for earnings. We saw some serious wicks forming after hours, but ultimately Google and Amazon, which were showing strength this morning because we traded them in the live trade session, made money on both of them going to the upside. To that point, we had over 6 alerted trades in the Stock Squad Live, all of them winners. It was a fabulous morning, and all of those would have continued to print if we had held them through. Of course, so woulda, coulda, shoulda, no regrets. We made a ton of money, and I'm happy about it, and we're going to do it again this coming Friday. If you want to be part of the community, you can go over to my website, which is the same name as the show, www.stockswithjosh.com. I also gave a GOAT options alert in there today that also was a winner. You can get daily trade alerts. It's a university. It's where you can come to learn how to be a better charter, and the very best tools available anywhere. We've got the Friendly Screener, which is an incredible tool highlighting yet again another small cap winner that went up massively. Welcome to Wall Street. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for taking a minute, engaging with the video, hitting a like, and dropping me a comment. I'm in my final day here at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas. I want you guys to keep your eyes out for a really great interview that I did with a Simply Bitcoin YouTube page. Some very strong insights on Bitcoin, the kind that kind of give you the hope of future potential profits being a long-term investor in Bitcoin. Normally, I come to the Bitcoin conference to get those from Michael Saylor, because every single time I come and hear him speak, if he says it's going to one day be $1 million a coin, then next year he says it's going to be $12 million a coin, then $25 million a coin, then $48 million a coin. The running joke is, it's going to be $68 million per coin. Always the estimations go higher and higher. You can honestly not outbull the bull in Michael Saylor. But this year, I found inspiration from an interview that I did with Simply Bitcoin. That's going to drop here soon on my page. Make sure you watch that. It's a very interesting video. Great questions, great answers. All right. Thank you for watching the show today. Hit that like and subscribe to get content on Wall Street, including crypto. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on the Bitcoin chart here as well today. So let's talk briefly about what the Fed said. So the Fed basically said the economy is quite resilient. He said that before. He said growth is still solid. Sounds pretty good. And he even went as far as to say inflation should eventually ease. I like it. I like it. Market actually largely sold off. It wasn't until big tech earnings came out later on that we got some strength back to the upside, because the market's only heard that inflation is still a problem and you're not getting any rate cuts anytime soon. Well, the era of Fed Jerome Powell has come to an end, and we're going to find out here very, very soon whether those cuts are on their way. I want to highlight the opportunity in a exchange called BitGet. I've talked about it on this page before. This is a universal exchange which allows you to do event-driven trading after hours on leverage up to 500x the amount of money that you put in, which actually means if you put in $1,000, they'll allow you to take risk positions 500 times $500,000. I do not advise that. I think it's a fast way of losing your money, but I want you guys to be aware that for some people, this can be a valuable tool. It allows you to use some leverage, which is similar to what you would be doing if you were taking options. But the big benefit is that you can get in and out on the news. So you don't have to get stuck in them. Let's say you were in puts going into Google here before market closed. I don't know why you would do that. I was telling you there was positive money flow going into Google. But if you were, you would have to wait till tomorrow morning as this thing went higher and higher and higher to get out of that position. You don't have to with the Universal Exchange, BitGet, and for some, it's a solution. As I was saying, you can actually trade Mag 7 stocks, indexes, the gold, metals, and Bitcoin. So I want for those who think they're ready for something like this to check it out. It's not available in the US and Canada. It is allowed in the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Mexico, India, and the UAE. I think it's a valuable tool. As anything on Wall Street, it takes a ton of discipline. Take a quick minute and watch this video for me. So now you're probably wondering, how do I trade stocks on BitGet? Well, it's fairly simple. First, create a BitGet account and complete the identity verification process. Next, you're going to want to fund your account, deposit USDT, and transfer it into your futures wallet. A good starting point is maybe 100 USDT. Now look for futures, then stocks, and then go to your ticker. Let's say it's NVIDIA. Set your order size, your margin amount, and pick your leverage. Beginners should start low. Next, it's time to place your order. Choose open long if you think it's going up, or open short if you think it's heading down. That is the beauty of perpetuals. You can profit in either direction. Remember, always trade with discipline and constraints. You can set your stop loss and take profit. That way you can manage your risk. The big benefit here is that you can trade stocks like Tesla and NVIDIA 24 hours a day, 5 days a week when the market is closed normally. And right now through April 30th, zero maker fees and taker fees, as low as 0.0065%. Check it out. Okay, let's get into a couple charts right away. I want you guys to see what I see in the SPY, and then we'll go from there. So the first thing I want you guys to see is this W pattern with a neckline around $716. If we can close a candle back above that neckline, then it absolutely opens us up to a move all the way into that 720 range. So far, the markets remain above all the important moving average lines. This is a W pattern. It's got to close above 716 and 50 cents, and that would take us all the way up to 720 to 722. All right, let's talk briefly about what I see in Bitcoin. I'm going to run through these very, very quickly. You guys can see that we've already had one leg down. We had an area of consolidation, a second leg down, and now we're in a new area of consolidation. We ran up in price to the Bitcoin conference, and as usual at the Bitcoin conference, we began to sell off. Now, this is in a critical decision zone, and I want to highlight a couple important things for you. I want to take you back in time where we closed some candles above a key moving average. This one here was the 8. We got one candle to close above it. The very next one couldn't hold it, and it closed back beneath it. Well, we're in a similar boat here. Now, the moving average line that we're actually testing is the 20. We did get one candle to close above it, but this candle is now lingering beneath it. And if we close this Sunday beneath it, well, then we do run that high risk of breaking this ascending structure and making a lower low. I'll get into that in just a minute, but I want to highlight the RSI on the bottom because this is where I think the true story is going to be told. We are not going to get out of the winter until price closes on a weekly time frame above the 45 on the RSI. Now, we did with that green candle, we got above the 45 with the RSI, but this candle is taking us back below. If we do ultimately close a candle back below the 45 on the RSI on the weekly time frame, again, I believe it's a very strong predictor that we're going to go on to make a lower low in the course of the next couple weeks. So right now it is relatively neutral. I'm going to give this chart a big N for neutral. We are at a critical juncture right now. It is possible that price could reclaim the 20 EMA, but if it doesn't do that by the end of this week, the likelihood is that we are seeing a similar rejection as we have had in the past and as we've had in every other Bitcoin cycle. Once we've entered into the winter, we've had a total of 3 legs down. We're 2 legs down now, and this would be the third and one of the best opportunities to buy. So I want to be clear, there's a lot of technical traders that believe that the bottom for this cycle will be in October of 2026 because the top was in October of 2025. And I also want to remind you that typically it's that third leg down that begins the most ideal time of accumulation. Once we get that leg down, it doesn't mean that that's the absolute lowest price. It just means that that is the third and final leg down, and we will at some point between now and October potentially find that bottom. Now, if the markets, which are currently bullish in the form of price structure, not so much momentum and not so much volume, but 2 out of the 4 are at hand, and largely it's hard to fight a market when we're making brand new all-time highs on the weekly. If we go back and make a new brand new all-time high and we get that W pattern confirmed like I showed you in the SPY, then yes, we could actually continue higher here with Bitcoin, with the SPY, with QQ, and with the Mag 7. And I would say it is the blow-off top that people were expecting in 2024 and 2025. It's very important that you hear the specific details regarding the SPY and Bitcoin that I'm giving you today. We're at a critical point. Honestly, next week might be the biggest deciding factor in the markets to determine whether or not Bitcoin is currently going to run up into the 90s and whether the SPY is ultimately going to hit 722. I think that the momentum indicator, the RSI, will be a leading indicator for us. It's a lagging indicator, but it's going to lead the way for us to understand where we're at in the macro. Let me take the last couple minutes of this video to talk to you about a small cap stock. Let's go check that out. All right, the small cap stock I want to talk to you guys about is BBAI. And really the main point of this video, because I know a lot of people have been dabbling in BBAI, we do have some interesting bullish structure, actually a couple. Micro, we've got this potential bullish inverted head and shoulders pattern with a neckline right on that dotted line, which would mean that for this to confirm, it simply needs to close and then open and close a candle above $4. If it did that, then it's predicting a move roughly between $4.90 and $5. Now that's the bull story opportunity, but the bear story opportunity is this is the third week in a row that BBAI has failed to close above 4. And so for those who are in it, who are interested in it, who are holding it, I just want to make it very clear, BBAI is struggling with $4, and it is not going to be bullish until it can get above $4, which means that it's currently in the hands of the bears, and this can continue to get pushed down. And if the market for some reason reverses, it absolutely would go to make a lower low. Are you prepared for that outcome? Is it worth keeping BBAI on the radar? Largely, this has been a defeated stock. The problem that it's had is that Wall Street believes that as an AI defense story, they really failed to capture the revenues in this environment. And if they weren't going to do it now when AI was hot and defense was hot, when will they ever do it? And because of that, Wall Street has decided to pass on BBAI. And we're seeing that reflected in the price. Remember, price is truth. And at the moment, nobody wants BBAI. And you've got the trigger. It's $4. Remember the 2-candle rule. You need one candle to cross the price. You need the second candle to open and close above the crossed level of resistance. The resistance is 4. Let me know if you guys are taking risk on BBAI. I'm not in BBAI, but I wanted to talk about it because I know many of you are. I'm going to leave it there. Peace and blessings. I'll see you in the next video.